see that truck.
In the Midwest, at least.
It was founded in 2017.
Well, so it's a relatively new company then.
125 dealers across the country.
100 and what?
125 dealers across the country.
Oh,
I heard Polaris, Mike was getting out of selling pontoons, huh?
Well, he's not by a lake, so it's hard.
I know, my nephew bought one of them when he marked them down.
Let's see where they're at. Oh, Bristol, Indiana.
buy a lot of stuff in Indiana.
Well, is it time?
Yeah,
Just
that's mine.
Say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll consider for approval minutes and agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve minutes and agenda.
I will second that.
A motion from Jensvold and a second from Smith to approve minutes and agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Suspension treasurer to discuss with possible action semi-annual report. Morning, Julie.
Good morning.
Are you guys waiting on me?
Oh, we're just passing it
We're
around.
just looking at
We
it.
got more copies?
Okay,
Oh,
I have copies for each of you.
Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then if it's approved, Bill, if you want to stamp it and sign and pass it on.
oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
So general basic was up. General supplemental was slightly down. Rural basic was up. Rural supplemental slightly down, 20% or so. What can the seizure funds from the sheriff's department be used for?
A lot of times it's training, equipment.
I see they did really use any of it. It's been sitting there anyway.
And I think the seizure fund is also Kelsey's fund upstairs.
Okay.
county attorney. So she can use it as well.
She has her own.
Mhm.
Well, they
Oh,
like
yeah.
split the seizures up
No,
then, or-
they,
So the
Not
she
sheriff's-
has a seizure fund, they have a seizure fund.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sheriff's Department has 11,000, and county
I'm just
attorney
wondering-
has 6,000.
I would assume the sheriff's department is seizing everything, or maybe sometimes it just comes, if it comes just through the court system. she
There's a
gets it,
formula.
Or they have a formula of how they split it up, that was my question, all right.
What is bangs?
TB banks.
Tuberculosis, or however you say that.
Oh, okay, all right.
We collect that on all our tax statements.
Is there no family farm credit or homestead credit?
There is, but it just doesn't get reported on here. There's line items for it, but the way Tyler has us do bring it in from the state, it's just done a different way.
Oh, okay.
So you'll see on the back, like Terry was showing you on the revenue side,
Mm-hmm.
on the back, it'll show you your family farm credits.
I see.
Trying to remember how much we estimated for a budget amount for income on local option sales tax. Is that above what we figured? I know we go conservative on the income.
I don't know, I'll have to look at the budget.
I have mine here. Good morning.
It was a long walk.
I didn't have any more questions.
I don't think that.
Okay,
That we have, Terry said it better. Than the best we got. Okay.
I'll make a motion to
It was a long walk.
approve the treasurer's semi-annual report.
I'll second that motion.
On a motion from Jensvold and a second from Smith to approve the treasurer's semi-annual report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries.
And I didn't know, Sue, if you knew, like on this report, and I maybe explained it in December too, where you get this outstanding
because I need to look,
This one stamped approved.
No. balance here,
I want,
is the outstanding balance from December and the outstanding balance from
Yes.
June.
Um,
So that's what sets that out, off
Okay.
there. So that's why I included this sheet with you guys, so you could see that as well.
I like to see that. How that works.
Yeah.
The one she gave us doesn't have, the signatures.
No, those are just for your,
Oh, here they are on this page.
yeah, that's just for
She
you.
says she wants 2 copies.
Yeah, I can make her a copy.
Two signed copies.
I want an original.
You want us to just sign this one and then I can get a copy from,
Here, we can do it this way, and then I'll
That
just,
one?
yeah, and then I can just bring this one down to Carla. You can get all your signatures again. There you go. You wanna just keep this one then?
Sure.
Make note
hold off there.
There you go. Thank you. And I don't need to bring down a copy for you.
Perfect.
Strong coffee.
My mom always said when someone coughed when they drank, did you put bones in it or something? I
Oh,
thought,
yeah.
where in the heck did that line
Bones
come
in it?
from?
I remember when I was eating
All
my
right, thank you.
grandfather's fish years ago,
Yep.
they got a bone
Oh,
stuck in
Carla
their
does.
throat.
Oh,
Right, Carmen.
And I can understand where the bone in the coughing
Oh.
come from.
okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat fish for a long time after that.
Just make sure they're only fish sticks.
Yeah.
How do you get that out?
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Um,
Have
they
a good
made me a
Thanks,
peanut
Julie.
butter sandwich with a whole lot of peanut butter on it, and then they made me swallow it. You know, went down and scraped it on through.
All right.
Yeah,
Discussion of
yeah.
possible action regarding, we got one more thing,
Oh, good.
regarding COVID-19 policies. Julie was not able to be on call, I don't believe. So if we have anything else for COVID-19?
At the Board of Health meeting last week, she made it sound like she would soon, very soon, have all of the, everyone's vacations and
Okay.
settled, so made it even kind of sound within weeks, a couple weeks, so
So by 1st of August, we can probably go back.
I think so. It's been a real thing just to get everybody's vacations in and stuff.
And she was texting me the wording from the COVID Recovery Act money that it's available for healthcare workers and public health. And she has questions about that.
And they had discussion about that at the meeting as well.
So, is there anything else for COVID-19 policies? All right. Beth making copies. Okay. Did you have your auditor's transfers there? Overweight. All right, let's go back to number 4, discussion of possible action, approval of former LAC Irish Hospital agreement. Morning, Beth.
Hi.
Sean.
Good morning. Sean has never been to a supervisors meeting for this, so
Welcome.
we thought this would be a good experience for her.
Yes.
I have updated copies of the agreement. We had some changes come up yesterday with the city of Forest City, and so we thought, so we should reflect those in here. I think you'll like the changes. We've changed this from a forgivable loan that is forgiven right at the end of construction to being carried forward 15 years. That way it'll be recorded with the property. If it's sold or anything, your interest in it would still go on. It states that it would be forgiven at the end of 15 years from the date that not only was it completed, but the supervisors approved it. So that you did your walkthrough that you had in there before. And providing all property taxes are current and up to date. I'm sure this project will never have that problem, but we have another one in the lower south part of the town that has that problem. So we thought to put that in. Forest City is doing a forgivable loan of $250,000, providing it's all electric in there, and they had a 5-year review period, but they were going to pay it out right away. Instead, we've taken that to 20 years. So there's guarantee that it'll be all electric for 20 years, and they're paying themselves back through the increased electric utility.
And there was the name change. too.
Yes. I'm not sure how we did that. I'm so
I-
sorry, Carla.
No, I'm talking about the Irish
Oh,
Hospital
we
Apartments.
did change, you know, when, and Kristen is on the phone, I believe. Kristen? Maybe not. Maybe she's been a little under the weather. Kristen was working with her LLC from Wisconsin. She has since established an LLC in Iowa. And we thought that that would be more appropriate for you to have an agreement with the Iowa company. It's still, she has personal guarantee on the items.
Kristen, are you on the line? Oh, I thought I heard something.
I
Yeah,
thought
there
so.
was something on there, evidently, not the right one.
So the things highlighted are the changes that you've made?
Yes.
The most recent ones, yeah.
The timing on page 3, there's a yellow highlight of the timing of the project improvements. We put that to June 30th of 2022, since it will hopefully be starting, our plan is to start this November. It'll be good inside work. The city of Forest City also approved, through the Housing Commission, a 10-year loan, not a forgivable one, that would pay for the installation of a new water line with capacity to handle a sprinkler system. We're encouraging sprinkling downtown, and anything that is converted that was never housing before. I don't know that a hospital qualifies as housing. That it would be, or the jail, I suppose the jail could. More permanent type housing. Then it goes through the state fire marshals, and those buildings are required to be sprinkled. So when Jim Koloff is completing the radio station's move to the old hardware store, the south building will have an apartment in the back, and that will need to be sprinkled. But it'll make our downtown safer.
Well, Kelsey had looked at everything here. I had forwarded her on the most recent changes of the forgivable loan, but I'm sure she was busy this morning, didn't get a chance to look at that, but she was okay with everything beyond that.
This is a development agreement that Steve Backey worked with her on. One thing I will update you, where is the floor plan? You know, we have, for Exhibit B, we have 8 residential units in the main building and 2 in the addition, and we just put, it may include 2 apartments. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to salvage that part. That was the addition, that was the police something. As we've been working with Hinkle and the city, if you drive through the alley and look at that, the addition is about an inch lower than the alley. So when it rains hard, it goes straight through there.
Mayor sounded like they could maybe put a swale in the middle of the alley, but
It's an interesting concept.
rather than sloping towards the door, it would slope towards the middle.
Kristen?
Well, did you want to show us?
Oh, we have
Renderings.
renderings. Can I turn off the lights for you for a second? So this is looking from the south. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the picture. So it's taking this angle. And then if you go back up, you can see, I think in this rendering, the brick's a little redder than it actually is. But you can see, oops, one of the additions is going to be this new entryway. We wanted to highlight the Art Deco nature. This is the original to the building, and that's where it had a big sign that said hospital that was neon back then. And so this would be 2 built-out benches. We may do some commemorative bricks for people in there. And I don't know, you can see real well, there's some nice light posts at the end. Go to the next one. And so you can see the light posts a bit better. And there is an allocation in the budget for landscaping for this. That looks quite nice, but it accents it. And then if you go to the last one is from the front. And so that's what it'll look like. So not only do we get more housing, we'll make a building lovely. One of the big changes, all of the windows currently are bulletproof and they're made for their security more than other ones. Yes. So these will be nice new black framed, double hung windows. You know, and it'll be accessible door. The first floor will be accessible units. And then obviously the second floor isn't as much, and there won't be an elevator. I really hope during demolition we can save that mint green elevator that's in there. Every guy I talk to goes, ha!
It's got some ornate features to it.
It has, you know, the plaster beading, well, kind of like on your fireplace, only it's in plaster, and it's all mint green with the hardwood floor. I'm sure Mrs. Iris was thrilled when it opened and didn't bring patients to his house anymore.
I kind of wondered, were they able to get a gurney into that?
Well, yeah, because the gurneys back then
Or smaller?
weren't like the gurneys now.
Yeah.
I have 2 aunts that work there, so I need to sit down and record their stories of what all went on. The little balcony in the back on the second floor, well, it's kind of between the first and second floor. I couldn't figure out what it was for. And they said, oh, that's where we went out and beat the rugs. I thought maybe it was for smoking, and then I remembered, oh, you could all smoke back then. So, a nice project. We're making progress. We have updated prices from Henkel, and they didn't go down.
Yeah, well, this is, how much did it go up?
Enough that we can handle, but that might be one of the choices between an 8 and a 10 unit apartment complex.
Yeah.
It went up a few hundred, 300 or so thousand. I'm doing all of this type of work, and Kristen's doing all of the financial pro formas. I talked to her last night, and she said, we get the tax credits, I believe we can do this. Now, the tax,
Do they qualify for, because the prices have gone up because of COVID in a sense? And do they qualify for anything like that?
I don't know. Where would you,
We haven't figured out how we would qualify with the nature center yet.
Yeah, I know, but.
we should figure that out.
You know, I mean, that's why the prices went up, so in
Oh.
theory, that money that's out there, I don't know how you would apply for it, but,
That'd be an interesting thing to look into. I don't know if we would call like ISAC or the league.
they would know better than me anyway. It just seems like to me that, you know, things, all that money is out there, and this is a project that has been affected by it, which everything's been affected by it, but.
But if we find out on this, then that would help the nature center too.
Well, you had mentioned at another meeting that the nature center might qualify under tourism. Or
Yes,
adding
I would
tourism.
think it would.
And it might qualify under, you know, more spacing for COVID. You can have a bigger meeting room, which we don't have right now.
That's a good point.
So that'd be 2 things to look at in there.
I did bring some housing things for you to look at. After we've been discussing, you know, what could we do for the entire county for housing. I think a housing study is good, but I think it should go with a housing plan for everybody. I just happen to have it over here. This is what Forest City did when I worked for Winworth Metro. So this is 23 years old. I sat down with an engineering firm and they laid out, this is a little off my agenda topic, laid out where all you could develop. I'm gonna trip on something. So the group put together where all could you build. The engineering company took and did master plans, utility extension costs, so they have the costs and the development plan for all of these. I'd say half of them have been built. I looked at it as a 20-year plan, but it was a good planning investment. I'm not saying that this engineering company, I think, is slow. Oh. Yeah, would you like to look at my pages in the dark?
I'd like to look at them in the light.
So,
For our YouTube purposes.
Is that something that we?
am I in the right place for your YouTube purchase?
Oh, you're right in front of the camera.
Hi.
Oh, I'm right behind it.
No,
You might almost be out of view.
it'll get to that door.
So, that's just one of the thoughts we had. This was 17,000 24 years ago, 23.
But we probably have to coordinate it through when we're going to
Yep.
do it with work county too.
I think it would be good, but I like a housing study. You need a housing study to know what do you have and what do you need. Projecting increased need.
I think the one you guys did in Fort City was invaluable, and it showed a lot of the need and where you needed it and what type of housing.
When was that done?
5 years ago, I think we worked with Maxfield Research. The basis of it came from the assessor's office. They were great to work with. We kept saying we don't have enough rentals, and I thought, how many do we have, and how the heck do we find that out? So back then I worked with Lowell. I said, could you send us the list of all of the residential properties that don't have a homestead on them? And so we peeled through that. That was a way we could get single-family rentals along with apartment rentals. And they even sent it in a spreadsheet, so you didn't have to re-enter.
I got him, but he managed to limp off.
But he'll go away. And then we went through and we emailed all of the landlords to get their information. That didn't work. So we talked to each of the landlords and said, if you give us your information, we'll aggregate it and share. So we knew 2-bedroom apartments had a range of this. 3-bedroom houses with 1 bath had a range of this, 2 baths had a range of this. And we're in the process of updating all of that. Suzanne just sent me the latest one. Suzanne's office just sent me. The first person I talked to said, I can send you that. And so it's a nice way to quantify what we have, and then if we know what we have, and we can project how many do we think we need, what's going to be our influx. Because right now, we could rent every rental possible. We've been working with Jennifer from Avance and snapping up, that's not a good term, and matching renters to landlords quickly, because we want them to live in Forest City, but at the least we want them to live in Winnebago and Hancock counties in Forest City. And then maybe the others.
Yeah, we've lost a few to Albert Lee.
Yes, Albert Lee has been, for her contract with Larson Manufacturing, I like the comment, no, I want to live in the city. In Albert Lee. Well, that's probably the city, they got a Home Depot and a Walmart. So,
In a mall. They like
Oh,
to
that's
congregate
right.
at malls.
okay. Things I haven't thought of in a long time.
That was discussed at one of the safe meetings.
Ah,
So if there was some place in the area that they could go to congregate like that, they like.
how could we make a mall without making a
Norwegians
mall?
call that church.
Norwegians call that coffee. Where 2 or 3 are gathered, there should be coffee and food. So thank you for your assistance on Irish Hospital. I think you've been a great sponsorship. I think this is something that your example could show a lot of other counties of how to work well together. Renovating an existing building of this age is not for the faint of heart, and it has a lot of digits. I think we're going to be right around $1.4, $1.5 million.
When will you know about
Thursday,
feasibility of the addition using
we're gonna be working on that over the next several weeks. And the next thing that we're working on is, IEDA redevelopment tax credits. As a gray field, we don't want, there's no contamination, there's never a gas station, and that could be a 12% tax credit. And these are all state of Iowa tax credits. That one isn't quite as big. This one is a 20% of allowable project costs tax credit for the workforce housing ones. Allowable costs are interesting. In the code, they specifically said no appliances may be included in the basis for the building.
Is the heating unit an appliance?
I think, no, because we had all of the HVAC included, and then there's some soft costs. I think your architecture and your legal, they have good lines, are included. The full architecture fee for this will be about $70,000. But it's a lot of plans, and retrofitting a historic building is not simple.
New construction is easier.
Yes. Oh, new construction could be more cost effective and easy, but then we wouldn't have any of these buildings.
It's,
But it's a tough choice for a developer.
I like history.
Mm-hmm. It's been fun we're working on a way to document all of the Irish hospital stories that we've heard. They've been a hoot.
When is the point where we don't own this anymore, where we don't have to
Oh.
shovel the snow and mow the lawn?
It's not next Tuesday. We get through this, it probably wouldn't go to close on the loan. So, and we're looking at construction would start in November, so it would need to be before then. I'd love to give you an absolute date this fall. Certainly she'll own it before you can start working on it. And so we'll try to do that as soon as possible.
Are we concerned about the liabilities and, is that,
Well, our
I'm
maintenance-
concerned about my maintenance guy doesn't want to shovel snow this winter. That's what I'm concerned about.
well, I'd be concerned about liabilities too. You have that all in.
Oh, yeah.
place, and of course,
Everybody that owns something worries about slip and fall. That's why we have lovely liability and builder's risk.
yeah, that's what I was wondering about builder's risk and
Yeah.
all of the above. That's good.
I do understand he's not wanting to shovel it, but he does get paid for it.
I understand that. I do.
Yeah.
It's just,
She's very anxious to get going on this. It just needs to be financially feasible. And as we work through, I don't even know exactly what date the tax credits will be announced. It'll be this Thursday, so I'm thinking September 20th.
Barring any unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah.
It could be that soon.
everybody's excited about it. It's just, things gotta
Just
line up.
Kevin is not pleased with me.
Oh,
No, it's just
Kevin is.
gotta be,
if I could get rid of shoveling all that sidewalk, I would. I shovel our church sidewalk, I can't, what is there, 4 blocks for the sidewalk there?
God
When we
bless you.
did the 1901 Victorian house
Mhm.
in Lake Mills, that had been a hospital at one
Mhm.
time, and it also had been care center for many years. So there was lots of stories too.
Oh,
So documenting those stories and was really fun.
how did you do that?
I could give you the name of the gal who did the majority of it. We would just get people's names as we gave tours, we'd get their name, and if we could get the date, and then often we would just have to, recite it to the person that was writing
Was the
it
scribe?
down. Yeah, but it is fun, especially when somebody says, "I had my gallbladder out in that
Yeah.
room right there. Would you like to see the scar?" No.
No.
But
Say that.
it's good background and good history, gets people
It's-
involved.
I'm hearing a little bit more about Dr. Irish. Of those, my mom said my mom and my aunt said he was pretty gruff, but, they were nurses.
What year did he
Did he,
cease being a doctor?
I don't know. I bet we could find that. I found a picture of him finally.
All my mom and her siblings were all born there, and I don't know if it was Dr. Irish or what, but when my Grandpa Camish had his heart attack, the doctor come right to the house, and I don't know if it was Dr. Irish, but he loaded him in his Corvette and sped him to Mason City. But he didn't
That
figure
sounds
he
like
had
Dr.
time.
Mangan,
Okay, that might be, all right. So,
the only person that could get somebody in a
because
Corvette.
this would have happened in '74, so.
Yeah, that sounds like Dr. Mangan, because my cousin raced cars with him.
Oh, is that
I
right?
used to look at Tom Harms. I would look at those race cars, and he was 6'2", and think, you don't get in there. Or if you do, you ain't ever getting out. But those are some of the interesting stories. And can you imagine marrying this guy and he brings patients to the house?
Wasn't Doc Irish's son also a doctor?
Mm-hmm. Tom Irish, we finally located him 2 weeks after he passed away
Oh, no kidding.
in Tacoma, Washington.
Did he practice in this hospital?
Mm-hmm. And then he was a general practitioner. He later worked, he's a specialist in Scottsdale, and then they moved to Tacoma. And then his sister married a doctor in Mason City, who was John Baker. He's a longtime doctor who delivered my first child. So we chatted a lot about Doc Irish and his father-in-law at a time I wasn't interested in chatting.
What year did it become a jail?
Oh, the city, the city had it.
The city,
had it for a
when the
while.
city built the hospital up on the hill,
Yeah.
mid-70s,
74, I think I remember.
I
Okay,
think, and
about the
then
same time.
they put the police department in there.
But didn't the city operate it as a hospital too?
Well, Dr. Irish built it in early 30s. I should know these dates.
34.
34. And then when he went into the service for World War II, he sold it to the city.
Oh,
So it was a city hospital for quite some time. But it was built as a private hospital. Because I think that was the thing back then. Yours was probably a private hospital as well, or at some point.
Oh,
The
the
Victorian.
Victorian house, I'm sure it was. And when it was a care center, it was also private, yeah.
Interesting things. And I thought about getting ready for this meeting while I was watching Blue Origin launch this morning. I thought, man, I remember when this was a big deal and they roll in the big old black and white TV for us to watch. My, how far we've come.
well, does anybody else have any questions about the agreement? We all okay with the wording of it?
Change of the length of it, you mean, and stuff?
Kelsey, she's looked through it all, right?
Do you want to pass it pending one more chat with her, or are you okay?
Trying to remember the original agreement, was it a forgivable loan at all?
It was a forgivable loan, and you had 2 payments, I believe, and then it would be forgiven in 5 years. So we took that, made it 15 years, and I wanted to put some type of, but you have to, property taxes was the best thing I could think of. To make sure your taxes are all paid up. Kristen and I talked about it, and she went, well, yes, well, we can get.
Well, that would be to our benefit to
Yes.
extend it 15 years, so I can't understand whether there'd be a problem with that part.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement for private development with the Irish Hospital LLC, LEC facility.
I'll second it.
On a motion from Derby and a second from Jen Vogt to approve the agreement with the Irish Hospital LLC for development. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
I don't mean to be smart about the Kevin thing, but 4 buildings for 2 people to take care of is a lot. Do you understand? I don't mean to be.
Oh, yes, Kevin has expressed his opinion to
I told you the question would come up.
you. Yeah, in several different ways.
I'd like a tour of it sometime, I've not ever
Oh,
been
that'd be
over
great.
there, so if there's ever a chance that you're available to
try to give you plenty of notice. It's a little musky,
Oh,
you know, it's a closed up building.
even if it's just after a supervisor meeting
Oh,
Sunday
okay.
or something.
That would be good. It's an interesting building. The hallways are wide.
Yeah.
And the steps are great until you get to the top floor, because things that would never happen now. You can go up the steps, but to open the door, you have to back down the steps and then come up through the steps. Something happened somewhere, and I'll show you the elevator.
And it's haunted.
Okay.
So I've
So
heard,
is the Victorian.
yeah, a place where people die.
My one stepdaughter swears that our house is haunted, so.
So far.
So it was in, from
Must be friendly
1934
ghosts.
to
Hmm?
when?
Must be Casper, the friendly ghost.
74?
That's it.
That's when the hospital out here was built. Yeah, 40, we figured 40 years as a hospital, and about 40, when we were going through the vote for the jail, we were telling 40 years as a hospital, 40 years as a jail.
Oh.
Hmm.
So now it'll be 40 years as apartments. Sounds good.
But it was longer than 40 years because it took us a while to get it passed.
Oh, the interesting thing, I had my kids up here one time and drove by, and my ex-husband now said, well, that's where your mom was born. I didn't think anything of it. And a little while later, one of them said, why was Grandma in jail? Go, oh, that's right.
There you go.
Carla, can you scan that and email it to us? Sure. As we're uploading required documents.
So Barletta, huh?
The what?
Name of the pontoon boat company.
Oh, yes. I was listening to Winnebago's conference call. I've never seen where they've done a conference call with an hour's notice. And they purchased, what did they say, a high-end pontoon company. Premier.
It's only 4 years old, too.
And, you know, later in the conference call, first they talked about the similarities with Winnebago and the supply chain and different things, and then they got into, I think their pontoon boats are from like 55,000 to 140,000.
That's why I've never heard of them.
Yeah. It's not, you know, my dad's pontoon boat that he made with barrels and plywood.
Or that, or the fact that it's only been around since 2017.
Yeah.
It could have been that long ago since you've been even looking at boats.
Just curious if there's a dealer over at Boca Boat.
Oh, that'd be it.
That'd be
That's where the
nice.
Chris Craft dealer is.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's good to see them expanding. They're doing it quite wisely. And every expansion or acquisition, I hear about similar supply chains. And the more we can match our supply chains, you know, maybe we can provide some of that here. It's been a busy morning.
Yes.
Well, thank you
thank you.
guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
See you, Sean. Doesn't always hook. It's been a while since I've had to call Scott.
Trying to remember. 30.
Well, I just wanted to make sure. So there's two numbers I remember all the time. 7530 is.
Yeah.
We're ready for you.
They used to have it memorized, but now it's starting to slip. I've been stuck over here in the corner for too long.
Hers is 7511, but since it's been so many weeks since I've had to call it.
Hi,
Good
Hello.
morning.
how's it going?
Good.
Where are we at?
we're waiting for Scott.
Okay,
Visited with your mom.
Huh?
We had a visit with your mom.
all right, how'd that go?
It was okay.
She's good.
Yeah.
No fist to cup.
No. Leaving the monster truck show.
Was there very many? Trucks, big ones?
There was I think there was only 3. I hardly ever made it inside. I was standing out front. I mean, I was, you could look in between the walkway going into the grandstand. I stood there and talked to people most of the time, but, there were supposed to be 5, and I think only 3 showed up because 2 blew up the night before.
That happens.
Yes, no,
Especially in
when
monster trucks.
you hear them engines revving and roaring and the whole power it must take to turn them big tires, you could understand how,
And I'm guessing this is probably the lower level monster trucks where they have a spare engine in the truck.
yeah, they're probably not carrying a spare one with them, yeah.
No,
Yeah, the grave digger wasn't there, all those big famous ones.
Do you wanna
do your.
do any more? Why we wait for Scott?
Yeah, we can.
We never did finish,
Oh, the
auditor's transfer.
transfers. You guys, a chance to look at the transfers?
Yeah, I'll make motion to approve the auditor's transfers.
I'll second that.
Got a motion from Jensel and a second from Smith to approve the auditor's transfers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Morning, Scott.
Morning.
Good morning.
What do we have for roads?
Not too much. Our main focus right now is our bridge replacement project, F18 N1. I think I told you last week the bridge is out. So at this point, they probably have the base dug and the rock in the bottom and are pretty close to being ready for the box to come, which is scheduled for next Tuesday. So on Tuesday, the trucks will show up and the crane will be there and they'll set the puzzle pieces down in the hole. And by the end of the day, hopefully have some dirt back in the hole. By the end of the week, hopefully have a pretty good handle on that and finish up the following week.
Sounds like it'll be pretty dry for the project.
Yeah, pretty interesting. The hole is not even weeping. You know, usually you're worried about moisture causing your hole to be unstable, and looks like a perfect trapezoid, you know, looking at the hole. The banks are perfectly stable, they aren't leaking. The bottom is hard, they're standing right on top. You could go down there in tennis shoes in certain parts. You know, it's a good first test for a bunch of new guys. So.
Tell them not to get used to it.
Yeah, we'll see some much worse ones.
Don't have the sloppy quagmire.
Not really. I mean, you know, there's some mud out there, but the hole is stable, so that's
Yeah,
good.
some of those you have to have huge pumps pumping through, like
Yeah.
Merle Robinson's.
Yeah, and you know, right now they aren't even pumping the creek during the day.
Yeah.
You know, they got it dammed up on both ends and it's just flowing so slowly that they're just pumping to catch up every now and then.
We had a couple inches of rain, what was it, Wednesday and Thursday? But it came down so nice that,
Yeah, the crops took it all.
just, you know, I've sort of told her, I don't think any of it made it to the creeks.
They said it went up just a little bit and then back down right away.
Did it go up some?
Forecast is looking nice, maybe a
Probably
little
whatever fell within the confines of the creek.
Yeah, really, just that part.
drainage ditches don't react too strongly to, you know, some of those that, they don't have a lot of surface runoff. It's mostly tile work into those, so.
Okay.
Anyway, it's going good. You guys are doing a really nice job. So that's the main thing. We got 4 guys out there working on that. Aside from that, the rest of the guys are either mowing gravels, which we should be done pretty soon, hauling gravel to north of Thompson state line area, up in those Eden Logan townships up there. That's part of the gravel resurfacing run. And that's kind of all of it. Other than that, I'm off early next week for family vacation, so I'll be out a couple days. I won't be here next meeting.
You start that when?
My vacation, we're headed out Sunday, and I'll be back to work
So
on
you'll be
Thursday.
gone for the box setting then?
Yeah, kind of disappointing, I guess, but I don't need to be there. The guys can handle it. So we've gone over everything out there on site about, anything I know and anything he knows, and make sure we're on the same page about everything. And I'm confident they'll do a good job, and there's not much I can do to save them at that point.
All right. Anything else? You guys have anything?
No.
All right. We'll move on then. Auditor's office will discuss drainage matters.
I don't have anything that's not on the agenda.
Okay. You guys have any concerns for drainage?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Set final hearing date for DD 18 Lat 11 project. Was that improvement project?
In talking with Rick yesterday, we would like to recommend August 17th at 9:30. And I know Doug Harmon had some questions, and I talked to Rick yesterday. I'm not sure if you're on the phone, Rick.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if you got a chance to talk to Doug.
No, I haven't yet. Sorry.
No worries. Doug had some questions, and I'm gonna have Rick attend to those questions, so we have plenty of time before this hearing to get those questions answered.
Okay. Well, so you want to make the motion for the public hearing?
Yes, I'll make a motion for a final hearing date for DD 18 Lat 11 project for August 17th
At
at
9:30?
9:30.
9:30?
I'll second it.
Got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to approve, or to set the final hearing date for DD 18 Lat 11 project for August 17th at 9:30 a.m. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Consider for approval petition to clean DD 6 ditch.
This is the one we talked about last week that I just wanted to have your approval on everything and to have a motion, so.
If I remember right, it was just in your district.
Just barely, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, either one could do it.
Yeah,
It's in hers. I'll second it.
okay. I'll make a motion to approve a petition to clean DD 6.
I'll second it.
Got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to approve the petition to clean DD 6 ditch. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries.
Chris, on this one, I did look at, we had replaced the bridge on the very downstream end of your cleaning project
Okay.
with a box, and we did bury the box about 4 feet because we knew that there's a lot of silt in the ditch. Did the contractors do any sort of survey work, or did they just kind of feel for the bottom, or what do they do on these kind of jobs?
I think he would probably just feel for the bottom. It's
I can give you the
Helgeson that's gonna
contractor's
do it.
name.
Okay.
I mean, it's Helgeson, so if you want to contact him,
I mean, I don't know if I have enough to be able to tell them what to do or not do. Where they normally start on the bottom end?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's near that crossing, they'll be able to see what we did and maybe get close to that.
Which should be nice. Now, when you lower something like that, do they try and clean, because I'm sure that's silted in the meantime, if the rest of it was 3 or 4 feet higher than the bottom? So do you just allow time and water to wash it out, or do they actually try and somehow clean that out in there?
Under the bridge?
Yeah, in the culvert itself, or the,
Is there
Box.
something to culvert?
I haven't seen this one since, it's been a couple.
but if it was
last
higher
summer.
on both sides, you would think that it would silt in a hurry.
and I'm not sure how far they're going. I know it's over 2 miles, but I don't know where your bridge is compared to where they're doing.
Okay, mine, bridge is on 70th, if that helps you.
Cause I think they're doing maybe just to it. Cause it's sections 28 and 29, so I could talk to him or have him call you, just to make sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Susan, do you plan to watch the project a little bit? And
I like it. I like to watch that.
yeah, I do too. I didn't know what involvement you guys normally have.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it probably started at the bridge, I'm not sure. I know it was all in was it 29 and 28 or?
Mm-hmm.
Does the petition specify the exact start and stop points,
Yeah.
Chris?
Talking about there.
It just said sections 28 and 29,
So it probably
and they're doing
starts-
11,000 feet.
Mhm.
So, of course I have. So I'll have him call you.
Susan, if you want to stop down and look at my plans or something like that to get a sense of what I'm talking about, I'd be happy to show you.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Are you around after this meeting?
All right.
Okay,
Rick, did you have anything to add for anything?
Nothing I can think of right now.
Okay. Thank you for calling in.
You bet, gladly, anytime.
open forum.
That for you to sign. Here's the bridge claims.
Thanks, Scott.
I think that's my house.
Oh, that whole,
Well, this is separate from this. It's all four city stuff.
Did you guys sign a copy of that Irish hospital agreement?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, it was there. I handed it to her. I think she signed it. Oh, yeah, and it was supposed to be scanned and sent to Beth, so that.
So maybe she took that.
Yeah.
Okay. I just saw an empty copy, so I wondered.
Okay. We haven't, yeah, we did the auditor's transfers.
Mhm.
Bill's the one that made the motion, so.
Yep.
Sue said, all right. Consider for approval sheriff's quarterly report. motion to approve the sheriff's quarterly report.
I'll second that.
A motion from Derby, a second from Smith to approve the sheriff's quarterly report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Semi-monthly county claims.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Everybody had a chance to look through the claims.
I didn't see anything that was. I would make a motion to approve the semi-monthly county claims.
I'll second that.
A motion from Jensvold and a second from Smith to approve the semi-monthly county claims. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Payroll claims. You guys happen to get an email from Andy about the area?
Yeah, that meeting.
Yeah, did you get that one?
When was
Haven't
it
met
sent?
since like 19.
Yesterday, I think.
It was sent yesterday, I don't think I, well,
Maybe I'll forward it to you so you have it. This is to do with trying to solve the problem of our EMS and paramedics and stuff like that in the area.
there's a meeting coming up then?
They're trying to get together. It's been since January of 2020 that we had it, right before COVID.
Oh, sure.
August 7th or something it was,
I'll forward it to you.
Yeah, if you can,
the meeting was gonna be.
I know you hadn't been to any, so it might be good for you to go to
Yeah.
one of these meetings
I'd like
and
to,
absorb some of
I'd
it.
like to know more about it,
Yeah. It's just,
where they're typically held.
it's been going around the county, so depends on where it is this time.
Oh, where was this one?
It is
I want to say Scarville for some reason.
at the Core City Emergency Services,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
August 12th. At 7,
7 PM?
so it's not the ambulance shed.
I've never been there, I'd like to see it too. Are they asking for responses, RSVPs, just know who's gonna
I would say you should probably let them know that you're planning on coming. We usually, one of us usually goes just to up the
Did
date
you
on
send it to my county email, or did you
Yeah.
send it, okay?
If 2 of us go, they gotta post it, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think at this point, the way things are going, it'd be better if one of us was there to kind of keep up on it.
I'll be happy to go on.
You got the
Just
email,
to-
didn't you, on the emergency services committee?
I'm on vacation that day, so I can't go. I've been talking to Dale about it. Right, Hans?
Oh, yeah.
Just been picking my brain about ways to tax for it.
There you go.
I got to go to that wedding at that Basilica in Dyersville last Saturday. Wow, what a church.
Yeah.
Huge. It's like, I don't know, 700 feet tall, I swear.
If I remember right, you can see that from Highway 20, can't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 spires coming up.
Yep.
I got all my stuff.
Been a while since I've been by there, but I remember looking at it, thinking that would be neat to be up close to it once.
Yeah. It's pretty ornate on the inside.
Take it with you and just
So
don't
it
put
was a
it away.
Catholic wedding, so it
And you can
was
put your staple, one staple back in.
That means we just got to sit with my grandson tomorrow.
Jason, you got to see him the other day.
Yeah.
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 They had a
I
singing
didn't take that
in
out.
single set,
So I
and
just,
they must have been at the neighbors or
I'm
something.
not smart.
Walked over
I'm
to.
just not smart. I'm like,
Bill, I figured out why I didn't recognize the name, Miller in the treasurer's office, because she goes by Stacy, but it's Anastasia.
Oh. Okay. Make the motion to approve the payroll claims. You guys are ready?
I'll second the motion. A motion from Jennifer and a second from Jerry to approve the payroll claims. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. I believe that ends our agenda, so we stand adjourned.